When I was a kid, I remember having a lot of fun playing video games on a Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal. So today, I'd like to talk to you about a game that's not just near and dear to my childhood, but that's also about cereal. Yet not just any cereal, this is Spy Fox and dry cereal. And Lucky Charms Frosted Flakes, how is that even a thing? There, that's better. Recently, I listed Spy Fox on my video of top 10 franchises worth reviving, and I chose that series for good reason. Released in 1997, Spy Fox was the spawn of a company known as Humongous Entertainment, and their target audience for their games were, you guessed it, children. These included franchises such as Pajama Sam, Freddy Fish, and Putt Putt. However, while those were obviously marketed towards a younger audience, the Spy Fox series dealt with slightly more mature references, story, and dialogue. While Spy Fox is very much a parody of James Bond, it is still a game with children in mind. But let's take a look at the first game in the franchise and go over exactly why I have such fond memories of this game. Keeping it spoiler-free, the story is very straightforward and you're pretty much shoved right into the heat of the action from the very beginning. As you would expect, you're a fox who is a spy, and your mission for this game is to stop an evil goat known as William the Kid from, are you ready for this? Ridding the world of cows and dairy products altogether. Sounds pretty dastardly, right? Throughout your mission, though, you'll run into various characters like this cow and my personal favorite, the rabbit who manages the local trinket shop. The game is full of lighthearted puns, jokes, and references, such as instead of Q and Moneypenny from the James Bond franchise, you now have Quack and Monkey Penny. Ah, what are you doing here? Get out of here! He does have a point, though. Likewise, as you'd expect with a spy thriller, you'll have plenty of gadgets and gizmos to help you out along the way, which are really cool and cleverly thought out at the same time. Eventually though, you'll end up at William the Kid's hidden base, and with a bit of luck, you'll foil his evil plans and save the day. But bottom line, the story for Dry Cereal is pretty much what you would expect from a spy parody children's game, and it can be completed relatively quickly. So, taking my age out of the equation, I'd say that the plot, while a bit juvenile, isn't that bad, and so I'll give it a rating of 7 out of 10 stars. Due to the art style, I would honestly say despite having some rough edges, Spy Fox has aged very well visually. The colors are crisp and vibrant, the look of each character is memorable, and the overall style is reminiscent to a good old-fashioned Saturday morning cartoon. However, if I had one complaint, it would be that the movement of the lips are very out of sync to the voiceovers. But this isn't a big deal when it comes to a game of this nature, and most likely, a child playing this game won't be bothered by that as well. Speaking of sounds, while I grew up on the American dub, for this video, I've been playing through the British dub, and throwing nostalgia aside, I think the voice acting for both are equally as great, and the quality of audio while the characters talk is clean and easy to understand. As for the soundtrack, the background music is very jazzy and features some classic spy thriller inspired themes that are genuinely pretty groovy at times, but in a good way. For the controls, I can't speak for the Wii port, yet the gameplay for the PC version is pretty much a standard point and click. Oh, and the escape key can be used to skip scenes if you'd like to speed things up. So I'd say the controls, while basic, are very responsive and what you'd expect. Honestly, you can tell the developers put some time and effort into trying to make the look and sound unique and enjoyable for minds both young and old. So I'll give the presentation a rating of 8 out of 10 stars. With Humongous Entertainment games in general, you have to keep in mind that these were created for children, and so the length may vary depending on your age and critical thinking skills. But if you want my opinion, I'd say a decent estimate would be that upon first playthrough, it could take anywhere from 1 to 6 hours depending on the puzzles one may encounter and if the player is young and struggles at certain areas. It's worth noting though that like other Humongous games, this game has a high amount of replayability if you're a completionist, because each time you play, various things change, like different character encounters, new and different routes and puzzles, and you'll find that there are different things to click on and mess around with. For example, here is a comparison of the same background from 2 different playthroughs. You'll notice one has a door which can further be explored, while the other screen has no door at all. While the door may be missing though, the game makes up for it by adding alternative places for the player to explore elsewhere. Pretty neat, right? There's also the Go Fish minigame that I remember spending a lot of time on when I was younger, and even now it's surprisingly still fun. Not to mention the arcade shooter game that comes equipped with the Spy Watch. This is pretty much like a standard side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, and can be a fun distraction from the regular game. To me, the best part about this game though is just randomly clicking everything you can to see all the fun little animations and events unfold. And you can tell the creative team behind the game really had a fun time coming up with all of these ideas. My favorite in particular is this tattoo guy. As you can see, the gameplay is fun and certainly a good family-friendly means of entertainment for a younger audience. So, for what it is, I give the gameplay a rating of 8 out of 10 stars. Alright, so we've taken a look at the things that help make the game tick, and also about what makes it fun and entertaining. Still, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for a full-grown adult. That is, unless you can embrace your inner child and don't need state-of-the-art graphics to get you through a game. I can, however, say that if you have kids, or maybe you're watching and you are a kid, despite it being a slightly aged point-and-click adventure, it could very well be worth checking out. The animation and characters are great, the music is lighthearted and doesn't distract from the gameplay, and despite the short length, there's a lot to explore, discover, and have fun with. Having said all that, my final rating for Spy Fox and Dry Cereal is 8 out of 10 stars. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what you think. Have you played Spy Fox before? Or maybe it looks like a game that you might find interesting. Let me know in the comments down below. And also be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing for more content like this in the future. But that's it for this episode. I'm That Bald Gamer, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.